up, you guys? Thanks so much for clicking on the video. My name is Leah, and let's recap and review the last two episodes of Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip. This is season 2, episodes 6 and 7. We have come to the end of the road, you guys. And I just want to say thank you. Thank you for rocking with me, and thank you for looking at the videos and supporting your girl. So let's get into it. Okay, y'all. Y'all know if I have tea to give you, and it relates to the episode, we talk about it. So let's talk about it. So it looks like all that dry begging Tamara has been doing on the internet, making that podcast with Teddy, her dreams have come to fruition, y'all. So on July the 20th, Tamara posted this on Twitter. It says, "The judge is back and drama is in session." And she put the orange hashtag ROHOC, hashtag season 17. So it looks like Tamara got her wish and she's back on Real Housewives of Orange County. So she posted this video with the TLC audio. I think it was the Creep video or the Creep song. And it's like, guess who's back? And she's doing like her little spin or her promotional photo. And I was like, I don't know. Is this really real? Is it really, really real? You know what I mean? And it looks like it's real. So Andy was shooting Watch What Happens Live and with Sutton Stranton and Lisa Milan. And baby, Tamara came strutting out in some, it looked like a knockoff Versace outfit. But you know, I couldn't tell. It was purple and gold. But she got her orange back. She let the people know she got her orange back. And then Vicky confirmed it on IG where she said, "My friend, my soulmate, my sister is back on ROHOC. I loved seeing your reclaim your own orange last night with at Bravo Andy Cohen on Watch What Happens Live at Tamara Judge. Give them hell, girl. Hashtag memories, hashtag Bravo TV, hashtag fun, hashtag ROHOC, hashtag she's back." So like I said, all that begging Tamara was doing and like being annoying, I guess it worked in her favor. Now I will say is I think it kind of sucks that Vicky isn't back on TV, but maybe we'll see Vicky in a friend role. But I am interested in seeing like what the dynamics are going to be, because if you didn't know, Noella and Dr. Jen got let go. Like, they let them people go. So the only people that it seems to be on Real Housewives of Orange County is Shannon, Heather, possibly Emily, and I think, what's her name? Walmart Gina is not there anymore. So we only got 3. Now it's 4 with Tamara. And I heard that they're bringing a few other people back from previous seasons to like really liven up the cast and bring OC back to its glory days. So next, we're going to talk about Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip Season 3. So the ladies are already filming. Filming started on the 17th of July. And it seems like they're having a decent time. I've seen a few videos of them doing like walking montages to Doja Cat's, I think, is it called Elvis? It's for the Elvis soundtrack, the song that everybody's listening to. But they posted this picture of Heather. It goes Heather, Whitney, Giselle, Alexia, Candace, Portia, Leah, and Marisol, and they have elephants behind them. So I guess maybe they were at like a sanctuary or something. And everyone got hyped because, you know, we talked about how most people are looking forward to the beef between Candace and Portia. So people are like, oh my gosh, they're not beefing. They're actually getting along. Like, this is great. But then Giselle commented under one of Portia's pictures on Instagram. And Giselle said, "Child, it's going down in Thailand." And then Portia responded to Giselle. She said, "At Giselle Bryan, let them believe this pic." So I guess there's beef going on. We don't know who's arguing. People are surmising that maybe Candace and Portia are going at it. But honestly, I feel like Leah might be the one that's causing the most drama. I feel like that's what it is. But yeah, y'all, that was just some little tea. So let's get into this review. Okay, y'all, it is episode 6, day 6. And we open up with Marco giving his own confessional in the attic. And I thought it was funny. I'm kind of like, I don't know if I would want to be Marco. Like, yes, I'd be interested and entertained to see the ladies like self-destruct and have issues and argue. But I also feel like it would be hella draining And it feels like it's that way. It feels like it's hella draining, if you get my drift. So we then see Dorinda and Eva in the morning. They're sitting down on the patio, and Dorinda is basically ashamed of herself. She knows she put her foot in her mouth about making the comment to Brandy about what if your son had died, and she just made the situation worse. She also knows that everybody is kind of over her because she's constantly yelling at people, and then she thinks that by apologizing the next day everything is all good because she's good, and the ladies are getting tired of it. The only ones who are really getting tired of it are the people that keep getting yelled at, which is Vicky, Tamara, Brandy, and Jill. But like Taylor, Phaedra, and Eva, kind of like they see it, but it's like, well, she ain't done it to me, so it ain't that serious, but it is serious, you know what I mean? So I was just like, dang. So then Eva and Dorinda are having the conversation, and Eva was just like, yeah, last night got wild. Dorinda's just kind of like, the only good thing that happened last night is me and Jill were able to mend fences. And she said, like, I didn't know Jill felt that way. Like, I didn't know Jill really like felt like I was not being a supportive friend. And she was like, I also didn't think Jill cared that much about our friendship or about me in that way. So Dorinda was like, I'm committed to making it work. So she sees Jill in the kitchen, they hug, and she says, you know what, I'm gonna start hugging you more because I know that's like basically what you like. And it really touched Jill. So then Jill and Dorinda have a talk, and Dorinda basically is like, I'm normally not very comfortable around large groups of people. Like, I just like, if I don't have to be out, I don't go out. And to me, if it kind of doesn't give Dorinda a pass, but it makes sense. Oftentimes we see Dorinda drinking a lot, and I think it's more so of anxiety and stress about trying to make everything nice for everybody. That's my Dorinda drunk voice. Making everything nice for everyone, and the issue is like she can't make it nice and she can't make it perfect, so it bothers her. So I think she uses drinking to cope with it, and it's just she's an angry drunk. That's the issue. She's just an angry drunk, and she has to work on that if she's going to continue drinking. We then see Vicky, Brandy, and Tamara sitting at the dinner table, and they're eating breakfast, and all of them are just talking about what happened last night. They all kind of feel like Dorinda went too far, but I'm just kind of like, Brandy went too far. To me, both of them went too far, and it's kind of like that whole saying, two wrongs don't make a right. Don't get me wrong. I totally understand why Brandy is frustrated and offended and upset, because it's like, you mentioned someone's child and death. That is always a sore topic or a touchy topic for parents. Like, it just is. Like, it just is. But what I will say is, Brandy oftentimes goes to the pits of hell with people. So it's like, I can't feel too bad for you that somebody else went to the pits of hell with you, and now you just feel some type of way. But I guess in Brandy's mind, she's like, it wasn't warranted. Like, I think she feels like, me and you weren't arguing, so why did you feel the need to jump in? I guess had they been going back and forth, maybe she would probably still be defensive, but maybe she would understand more. But they're all sitting at the table. Tamara feels like, you can't talk around Dorinda or she gonna yell at you. Vicky feels like Dorinda is just like picking on her, and she just can't, like, she can't take it anymore. And Brandy feels like Dorinda can't keep yelling at people and then apologizing and thinking everything's all cool and we're all good to go. So all the ladies come to sit down at the table except Phaedra. And Dorinda is trying to apologize to Brandy. She's like, I love you. And Brandy's like, I love you too. And she said, I was wrong. Like, I'm trying to apologize. I was wrong. I shouldn't have used that reference. It was out of line. It was out of order. And I was wrong. And Dorinda was kind of like, I was trying to say this, but it didn't come out that way. And Brandy was like, you didn't need to make a reference because the fight had nothing to do with you. And then Dorinda's like, well, yes, it didn't have anything to do with me, but I was triggered about you bringing up somebody's husband's death, because you know how she feel about Richard's death. So it was a mess. It got awkward. And Brandy ends up asking Dorinda, why are you so mad? Like, why are you so mad? And I was like, yeah, Dorinda, you do come off as like an angry drunk. You really do. And maybe she doesn't see it. And like, I know a lot of people are like saying, when they see her on Watch What Happens Live, like she never takes accountability, especially when she's asked about that. But your defenses are up. So maybe it's like when the show has kind of died down and she looks back at it, maybe she could really see where she messed up and really reflect on it. So then Eva and Vicky starts to talk about stop going below the belt. Like, that's not why we're here. That was nasty. And Dorinda gets more mad at Vicky, and Dorinda starts talking about how, like, okay, I went below the belt. I already apologized and said I was wrong. And I don't know how they got on this topic, but I guess Vicky made a comment. And then Dorinda was like, girl, you've been arguing and crying all day about Steve, like, since you got here. So what is it? Like, do you want to be here or not? Like, I think it's just too much going on. It was too much going on at that table. Tamara says Dorinda needs to drink less and try a lot harder not to yell at people, as well as she's not really making it nice for everyone. She's just making everybody miserable. So breakfast disperses, and then we have the ladies breaking off. We see Dorinda and Eva go somewhere. Then Jill and Taylor are in a room together, and then Vicky, Tamara, and Phaedra and Brandy are in the room. Vicky starts crying about death, and we see that she's always talking about death, as well as they bring up how they were kind of surprised of Taylor's behavior. Like, they were just kind of like, it just came out of left field. She's normally not like that, so I'm just kind of surprised that's how she went to this way. And then Brandy's like, I do regret going low with her, but I felt attacked. So then when we see Taylor and Jill talking, Jill is riding Brandy's, like, she's on a Brandy's team. Like, Jill is team Brandy. And Taylor is just kind of like, I realized I'm a lot more hurt by her than I let on. And she was like, Brandy hurts people, and then she does the same of like apologizing and thinks she can move on from it. And that's why I'm just kind of like, I don't get how Brandy can't see that she does the same thing that Dorinda does. Dorinda lashes out and hurts people, and then in the morning she says, oh, I'm sorry, I didn't mean it that way. And Brandy does the same thing. So it's like, that's why I can't be on either person's side, because I'm like, Brandy, you do the things you are upset with Dorinda about. And maybe that's why you can see yourself in Dorinda, and Dorinda can slightly see herself in you. So then Jill is kind of like, you were poking her. And Taylor's like, you know what, I'm going to just swallow it and just keep it pushing. We then have a scene with Phaedra. My thing is, with this whole 7-episode kind of season, we didn't get much of Phaedra. And I think that was, what's the word? Is it evident or poignant? I think that was the plan. That was the plan on Phaedra's part, where it was just to give us like a surface level version of Phaedra, because Phaedra is still the same person she was when she was on Real Housewives of Atlanta. Like, she's changed in subtle ways, but not a lot. And this show pretty much proved it. Like, the ladies see her as someone who's like mysterious, yet like they like her, but they don't really know her enough to really like her. And her, Phaedra and Tamara are like walking, and basically Phaedra's like, she's a private person. Tamara's like, you're sweet and zen, but we want to get to know you more. We find out that the guy she's dating is a doctor, as well as they've been knowing each other for like 4 or 5 months. And she also talks about how she had to divorce Apollo twice because he appealed it and they let it go through. And like, so they could stop the divorce. So then they also talk about how Dorinda is an angry person, and they want Phaedra to talk to her because it seems like it's coming from a place of love when Phaedra talks to people. Like I said, Vicky feels like Dorinda is constantly picking at her. For today's excursions, they're going to do a wine tasting, and then they're going to do Christmas in September. So they all depart. Everyone's like having like, a good time at the winery. They're talking about their most happiest moments on their actual franchises. A lot of them were like family moments, which was nice. Like, Tamara was like getting engaged to by her husband. Phaedra's was like having both her 2 sons on camera, because I remember we got to see that. Eva was like getting married, and then her husband adopting her daughter and being able to change her last name to get away from Psycho McCall. Vicky was talking about, all the family scenes popping up on her son in college and him being shook. I think Dorinda said, everybody being in the Berkshires and being at Bluestone Manor, which I found crazy that, like, I did not remember them naming Bluestone Manor during season 7 of Real Housewives of New Jersey, not New Jersey, of New York. I always thought, like, that was what the name was since the beginning, but the flashback showed that they actually took time as a group to name Dorinda's home, so it holds something dear to her heart. And who else? Oh, Taylor was talking about Camille, about Camille, like, had that one time when they were in Vegas and everybody was just having a good time dancing. And then Brandy brought up, like, her relationship with LVP, which I can tell Brandy misses being around LVP, but Brandy burned, like, the bridges with LVP. Like, you smacked her and then you switched up on her. And even though it wasn't really like a big smack, it was just like, girl, don't invade nobody's personal space. And as uptight as LVP can be, like, you should have known not to do what you did, but you did it anyway because you're Brandy. They then tried to, like, get into people's departure stories, like, why did they depart? And Phaedra did not want to talk about it. Like, Phaedra was just like, one side of the story was told. And I'm like, okay, so if one side of the story was told, you have a platform where people from Atlanta are not on the cast and you can speak freely and openly about what happened. So why not take the opportunity to do so? You just being like, shady and kind of funny in the confessional and drinking on your Coca-Cola, I was just like, why don't you tell the people what happened? But she didn't. So I was just like, that's stupid, Phaedra. Like, you missed an opportunity to tell your story on a larger platform, especially now because a lot of people have warmed up to you and they feel like, oh my gosh, like, this show really gave them a new perspective, even though I feel like it didn't. But people just miss Phaedra, and having her be on this, like, season, they liked it a lot. They really enjoyed her. So they all had a good moment. Phaedra starts crying and praying to them, and it felt fake. I'm not even gonna lie. Her inviting them people at the end of the episode to sing to them, I was like, why are you doing this, Phaedra? Why are you so committed to keeping this, like, church lady Sunday's best aesthetic when we know that's not really who you are? And my thing is, there's nothing wrong with loving the Lord. I love the Lord. But when it comes to Phaedra, it always feels like a gimmick. It doesn't feel like this is genuine, like, spirituality. And maybe it might be. It just, to me, it doesn't come off, like, authentic to her. Like, if Phaedra would, like, sprinkle it in here or there, it would be cute. But sometimes I just feel like we don't know Phaedra enough. So this representation of being like, oh, I'm this, Southern lady, Jesus, 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 but yet you walking down the street in a peekaboo dress, it's like, it's not giving what you think it's supposed to give. But it was a very nice time. So we finally have the sit down between Dorinda and Vicky. And Dorinda just apologizes after Phaedra read her excerpt from her Bible, because that's what made Phaedra cry. Like, she wanted to pray for the table, and the scripture or the devotional that she was reading was talking about leaning on to God even when you feel your flesh getting weaker, mainly giving into temptation or speaking negatively about yourself. Lean on to a higher power. And it gave time for Dorinda to, like, apologize. So she was like, I'm gonna take this time to apologize to Vicky. So she sits down and she basically tells Vicky, when I saw you on ROHOC, I really admired you. You were a single mother doing it on your own. I was a single mother at that time raising teenagers, and I just felt like you were such a go-getter, and you could have the world was your oyster, so to say. And she said, when you get here, I just feel like you're being miserable and you're taking everything and Dorinda's like, well, maybe I'm too sensitive and I just feel like you're not having a good time, which I'm taking personal because I'm trying my best to make sure that everyone has a good time. And Vicky basically was like, no, it has nothing to do with you. She was just like, I'm not in a good place right now. I thought this guy I was with was gonna be my forever, and I can't fake whoop it up with y'all. Like I just can't. And Dorinda's like, I have to apologize to you because I was putting what I felt like how you were going to act on to actually giving you the opportunity to be yourself. And she was like, I'm realizing you're a lot more sensitive than I anticipated, and so I apologize for that. And I was like, okay, cool. Vicky said they were gonna turn a new leaf, and they did. And then we see Eva and Brandy fall on in the grass. On to Christmas in September. All right, so we're doing Christmas in September. Dorinda wanted to let the legends experience Bluestone Manor during Christmas, and she says like, you can tell that Dorinda takes pride in decorating her home, and she really loves Christmas, and she wants to make it nice for everybody. So she really wanted them to experience it. I kind of thought it was corny, but I also think it was sweet. Ain't much to do in Massachusetts where they're staying, so why not? Why not? They even had like fake snow, which was cute. So everyone dressed up. I thought Phaedra's outfit was cute for what it was. But everybody was having a nice time. The crazy thing was Brandy wore her reunion dress. The dress that she was supposed to wear at the reunion, she wore because they canceled her. And I remember that reunion, and I'm surprised that they canceled her because honestly, the latter half of that season was all about Brandy and Denise allegedly smashing. So I'm so surprised that like they canceled her on the day of the reunion, and it shows how much Bravo thinks of Brandy as well as how they'll just chew her up and like spit her out. That's really what it is. Like they just used Brandy for what it was, and then they just casted her aside. Because the fact that they didn't even allow her to go to the reunion, I was like, oh, that's shade. That is so shade. And if I was Brandy, in no way would I have worn that outfit. In no way would I have worn that outfit. Like none of y'all would have seen me in that outfit. Or if I wore the outfit, I wouldn't let y'all know. Like I wouldn't let anyone know the backstory behind the dress because I would be offended and embarrassed. So then that prompts the conversation about Denise, and we find out that Tamara and Denise have known each other for almost 10 years. And Tamara was saying how Denise basically like told me not to trust Brandy. Like she's telling the ladies, like she told me you were a liar and not to trust her. Well, Vicky was like, now that you've met Brandy, like, do you think Brandy is telling the truth? Or what? And Tamara was like, oh, I believe Denise. And everyone was like, okay, well, at least you are honest. And she was like, oh no, I mean I believe Brandy because something happened. And then Brandy was like, what do you mean? And then I think Brandy was like, oh, you mean the BravoCon thing. And everybody's like, what happened at BravoCon? And Brandy's like, yeah, tell me because I've been hearing people talk about like what happened at BravoCon. Like that's why I brought it up. And Tamara basically was like, and you could tell she didn't want to tell, but she wanted to tell because Tamara is messy. So I don't believe that whole like, oh, I should have never said anything. Because Denise was hitting on Tamara the whole time, supposedly or allegedly at BravoCon. Like at constantly texting Tamara to come to her room, and I guess she wanted to like mess around with Tamara, but Tamara's like, girl, I don't play those games. I'm a married woman. Like that's not my style. That's not my ministry, girl. That's not what I do for myself, you know? And then she said after that happened, she kept trying to call her to like smooth it over because she felt like she didn't want Tamara to say nothing. And if that is true, then Denise is stupid because if you already have this stigma over you about messing with Brandy and you wanted to paint this picture that Brandy is a liar, that y'all really didn't mess around, that you don't really mess around like with women like that, like it's on occasions, then why would you be so like bold enough to try to mess with another coworker, a married coworker at that, and not think that that person wasn't going to be like, oh, there's some validity to what Brandy was saying? Because Denise was deny, and now it seems like there might be some truth to it. Now, I'm not saying Denise is like wrong, but what I am saying is that like I kind of didn't believe Brandy, but after hearing that story and after seeing the way in which Denise and her husband reacted, it kind of makes me feel like there probably is some truth to that. Really some truth to that. So then they're sitting at the table, they're eating dinner, everyone is talking about how they're having a good time. Brandy is like she wants to talk to Jill, and that's when we find out that Jill is upset that didn't nobody want to sleep with her. And then Taylor says, you know, Brandy, because they're all going around the table saying nice things about each other. So Taylor basically says, Brandy, I'm about to give you some Oklahoma shade, where she's like, if you're not fighting, you're effing. If you're fighting, you're if you're fighting, you're not effing. And in between there's a little bit of friendship. And then Taylor basically says, you know, I didn't think I cared about you when I came on this trip, and everyone was like trying to interject. Vicky's like, no, 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 we won't want to go down this road, because I think they thought it was gonna get below the belt. But Taylor's like, no, let me finish. And she's just like, I'm confused by you. But I realized, as a person that has finally like found her voice, she was just like, I realized, if I don't care about you, you can't hurt me. But if I care about you, you can hurt me. And I'm realizing that I must care about you in a way, because the things you do and say do really hurt. But she also says she wanted to like build a friendship with Brandy, and that really touched Brandy. I do think Brandy likes Taylor, and I think to a certain extent Taylor likes Brandy. But I think if I was Taylor, I would tread lightly with Brandy. You know, keep your eyes open with her. But that was the end of the episode. So let's give it to the finale. Okay, you guys, it is the finale episode. It is episode 7, and we are done. So this one, not much really happened. It was pretty much a lackluster last episode, to be all the way 100. We see some people are sad that the whole trip is over. Others are kind of excited to go back home to their families. We see Brandy still has on the dress she wore the night before. Her hair looks disgusting and greasy, and she's just still in that dress. And I'm like, Brandy, go change. I know you stank. Go change. Go change, ma'am. Go change. They then talk about like foot fetishes at the dinner, well, at the breakfast table, where I don't even know how they got on that conversation. Where Jill tells this story about the masseuse licking her toes, and her screaming to get her husband, and telling the husband like, and telling Bobby like, you know, this man licked my feet and tried to suck on my toes. And Bobby was like, well, did you tell him to stop? And she was like, yeah. Did he stop? Yeah. Then what you cry like screaming? I said that couldn't be my man. That cannot be my man, because technically that is assault. Not even technically, that is assault. Like, I didn't tell you to put your nasty mouth on my feet. Oh, disgusting. That's disgusting. Uh, that's so gross. We then see Vicky and Tamra. And Vicky, oh my God, Vicky, my God. Like I said, we see Vicky and Tamara in their room. We find out that the day's excursions are going to be canoeing. Then they're going to like eat dinner at this beautiful home. Like there's the setup for that was like so elegant. It was just like, it just reminded me of like something whimsical. It was really pretty. And then they're going to eat dinner in Shakersville or something like that. So Vicky ends up getting a text from Steve basically saying he moved out the house, he packed up all his stuff, and he's going to like, I guess, Vicky's home or her timeshare or whatever, which is weird to me. I'm trying to understand, like, did y'all purchase that together? Because why does he feel so comfortable to stay there if he purchased it? Because for me, it's the audacity, because had that been my man, I'm letting y'all know all the way in real that like y'all would probably see me on the news, because I'm like I might have thrown his stuff out. I might have lit it on fire, something, because it doesn't make sense to me that he's still staying in a home where you're not there anymore and it's your house, and he has told you explicitly in so many details that he does not love you or want you anymore. So I'm confused. And I'm thinking like maybe they purchased it together, but then again, Vicky gives me that she'll take care of a man. Like she will take care of a man. So she's like crying. And it was a mess. And Tamara was like, Vicky, get it together. And I'm like, yes, get it together. But I don't think Tamara was being a very supportive friend, because I'm like, Tamara, okay, you're married. You're happy with your husband. You see Vicky. You know Vicky. You've known Vicky for years. You know Vicky has a fear of dying alone. And I get it. I totally get it. We oftentimes, like, not even, I think a lot of people have that fear. A lot of people have envisioned how they want their lives to go. Like, you meet a guy, y'all get married, y'all have kids, and y'all move forward, and you spend the rest of your life together, or until somebody passes away. In Vicky's case, she got a divorce. She met Brooks. She thought that was the love of her life, but then he turns out to be a scammer and a liar. So she had to dump him. And I think Brooks is who she wants to be with, but I know Vicky doesn't want the public backlash of being with a man that lied about cancer. Because there's a lot of people who don't play about that. As well as her, I think she thought, okay, so I can't be with Brooks, but then she met Steve, and Steve made her feel so wonderful that, like, I think she really, really thought that was the one for her, and come to find out it wasn't. And now he's married to someone else, and I bet you that, like, knocked the wind out of her sails when she saw that, because she was just kind of like, oh my goodness, like, Vicky probably feels like she might be unlovable. That's what Vicky gives me. I feel like she's one of those people that has like a lot of love to give, but maybe she just really needs to take her ass to therapy and figure out, like, why are you choosing wrong? Or is it, you know, it is, I don't want to put all the blame on Vicky, but I think in my mind it's just kind of like, there comes a point where you have to look at yourself and see why you're attracting these types of people, and why, and like, are you not seeing these signs that this person is not for you? Because every time we see Vicky, it's like one minute she's happy, head over heels for a man, and then the next minute it's like he dumped her and she's destroyed. So I feel like she needs to figure that out. She got to figure that out. So they go canoeing. It was funny. Like, Vicky and Tamara were doing a horrible job. Everybody else had a good time. They then go to that beautiful manor that I mentioned. And Jill has this game where she was like, everybody put adjectives to describe, like, the women at the table, and then we're going to read them aloud and then pick. And for the most part, everybody got good things. Jill didn't like hers because they said she was talkative, but it was like multiple people said talkative. They said Dorinda was regal. Phaedra was kind and mysterious. They said Eva was firm. And then someone said Vicky was self-involved or selfish. And Vicky was like, yeah, I'm self-involved. It's why would I not be involved in myself? And I was like, I don't think that's what they meant. But okay, Vicky, go off. Go off. So now we're going to Shakersville for dinner. Everybody looks nice. And the night was going good until Brandy made a comment and Dorinda got offended. Brandy was being jokey, and she said, just don't yell at people. She was like, we're going to have a good night, and Dorinda, just don't yell at people. So Dorinda comes back and says, just don't get drunk and flash everybody with your dress. And everyone's like, whoa, whoa. And the truth of the matter is, Dorinda is sensitive, but she bites back just as hard as Brandy. So I just feel like, Brandy, you know what you getting. And Brandy even told Dorinda on one of the episodes. I don't know, y'all, the episodes are merging together. On one of the episodes, Brandy basically told Dorinda, if you keep behaving the way you're behaving with the drinking and the lashing out, you're going to be put on pause forever. And she was like, I know how that feels, because that's how I was when I got fired from Real Housewives of Beverly Hills. And I just want you to know that, like, I see that in what you are doing, I did, and I don't want you to go down that path. And I thought that was very big of Brandy, in a sense of, like, she hasn't been getting along with Dorinda too much, but you can tell Brandy loves Dorinda enough to tell her, like, girl, this the wrong road. This is definitely the wrong road. So they had that moment in Shakersville. We see Phaedra, Eva, Jill, and Brandy get up, because Brandy is just like appalled and upset. And then Dorinda, Vicky, Tamara, and Taylor sitting there, and they were like, well, why'd you say that, Dorinda? You ain't have to say that. And there was like, bro, she can make a joke, but I can't make a joke. And like, why did you have it? She didn't have to say that, because we were having a good time. Like, she didn't have to make it that, like, she didn't have to say that. And I'm like, I get it, Dorinda, but like, you could have just swallowed that L or that joke and kept it pushing. You in turn kind of made the situation worse with that energy. But I also understand Dorinda in the sense of like, girl, don't come for me because I'm gonna come right back at you in a sense. So then we have them getting lost to the bathroom, them eating dinner, and then Phaedra invited this choir from this like Grammy awarded and nominated singer who I've never heard of. And like I do listen to gospel music from time to time. So I know certain people. I know certain, so like when she said it, I said, who is he? And they sounded off key, so I don't think it was the best representation of them because they probably can't sing. But I was just like, why are we doing this? It just felt performative to have the choir there, to have them sing. It just felt performative. And maybe Phaedra was just trying to like give her friend some shine or give an associate some shine for him to come through, because it was just like, it just felt out of the blue. And that's kind of where the season ended. They asked all the ladies would they want to do it again. Eva said no, which I thought was real stupid on Eva's part, because I'm like, Eva, it seems like they like you guys together. Like, girl, this could be a lucrative bag for you on the side, because other than Eva doing the Ricky Smiley morning show, I don't know what Eva does. I don't follow Eva. I don't keep up with Eva. But I'm just kind of like, girl, I would think you would want to do something like this because you were able to do two jobs at once. So making this something where like, y'all know, every other year y'all go out the country and go experience life together or have like a fun time doing excursions, and you get paid a nice coin just to go on vacation, I would take it. I would take it. And overall, I did enjoy the season. I really did. Like I said, I really did enjoy this season. I wish they would make this show only for ex-wives. And the reason why I say that is like, give people who've already been gone that the network is able to make money off of, allow them to come back. Allow them to come back, allow people to see them, allow them to build their like clients or their fans, and then go on to do other things. Being on Real Housewives Ultimate Girls Trip shouldn't be like a gateway back onto the show, but it definitely should be a gateway and an avenue for other housewives who have been let go to, you know, still garner their fame. Like, y'all use them, allow them to use your platform or another platform to gain their own notoriety and stuff like that. So I did enjoy this season, and I wanted to rate each lady's performance. So first off is Brandy. I would give Brandy an A. Brandy was willing to bare her soul. She got into it with almost everybody except Phaedra. Honestly, yeah, except Phaedra and Jill. But she got into it with everybody. That's crazy, because she did get into it with Eva. And I like the fact that Brandy is an open book when it comes to Real Housewives. She is willing to bear everything. So that's a bonus to me. Definitely a bonus to me. Then Vicky. Vicky gets a D for Debbie Downer. I don't understand why you would come on this show and just be sulking about this man. I get it, breakups are hard, but you shouldn't have came. You shouldn't have came. Or if you were going to come, you should have found a way to put your emotions like aside for this 1 week just to have a good time. And then once you got home, you let it hit you. And it wasn't fun. I wanted to see Whoop It Up Vicky, and we ain't get none of that. None of that. So then Jill. I would give Jill a B minus. Like, Jill was fun. She didn't back down from Dorinda, but I could tell that Jill was ass kissing Dorinda in a way because Jill also wants to have a connection. So when they film Real Housewives of New York's Legacy, that she has an access way onto the show if they get picked up and her and Dorinda are on the show. But I did like that she said what she said to Dorinda and she wasn't scared. So I give her a B minus. Phaedra, I would give Phaedra a C. We didn't get that much from Phaedra, but Phaedra was funny at times. She was entertaining. But it was just kind of like, why come on the show if you're not going to give us a new side of you? We just got to see the same Phaedra. The only thing is Phaedra was just in the cut and slightly the voice of reason. So Miss Dorinda, our hostess with the mostest, I would give Dorinda a B plus, because Dorinda was in drama. She started with everybody, but Dorinda got to get control of that drinking, and also stop offering yourself or your home to Bravo if you can't handle it, because I think that is what also drove Dorinda to drink is Dorinda is a perfectionist and she wanted everyone to have a good time and she wanted it to go a certain way. And when it didn't, that's when she started lashing out at people. And nobody wants to be on a trip with someone that lashes out at them. It is what it is. But I'll give her credit because it was her house, as well as Dorinda speaks her mind, and she was most of the focal point of the drama. Not Taylor, Brandy and Dorinda. So then Tamra. Tamra, I would also give a C. She had drama with Dorinda. She had a moment with Brandy, but it was still the same old Tamra. All that screaming and yelling. And then she kind of like, her being up under Vicky was annoying too, because I was just kind of like, girl, y'all on vacation. Tell your friend to get out of her own way and have a good time. Tell her that. Then Miss Eva the Diva. I would also give Eva a C plus. This one we got to get to, I was about to say got to get to know. We got a better version of Eva. Eva wasn't pregnant like she was on Atlanta. She wasn't playing in a wedding. We got to see Eva. I think the real Eva, the one that smokes weed, that laughs with the lady and is down for a good time. And I like it. I just wanted more. That's just all. I just wanted more. And last is Miss Taylor. I would give Taylor a C minus. A C plus. A C plus, possibly a B minus. Because Taylor wasn't afraid of Brandy. She got in the mix, but it was just like, it was there for a minute and then it went away. But then again, it was only 7 episodes. So how much contention could they really like have or to flesh out their whole drama? But she did step up in a way that I didn't think she was going to. But yeah, Brandy an A, Vicky a D, Jill a B minus, Phaedra a C, Dorinda a B plus, Tamra a C, Eva a C plus, and then Taylor's like a C plus B minus for me. And the only reason why is because I didn't think Taylor had it in her to argue with Brandy. So she kind of like proved me wrong. So I was just impressed. I was just impressed. But yeah, y'all, that is it. That is all. Let me know your thoughts. Do you like agree with my scoring? Did you actually enjoy this season? Or did you think season 1 was way better with the heavy hitters of the network? It was Kenya, Cynthia, Teresa and Melissa, Kyle, and then Luann and Ramona. Or do you think the show should just be dedicated to the ex-wives? Give me your thoughts. So remember, y'all, to be bravely authentic, and I'm out. Deuces.